Hey everybody, what's going on? Tempest here, and I'm coming to you today with a new deck profile. I'm finally starting to get some time to put together these videos for you. I have a lot of decks that we've been working on that I've had the pleasure of playing since, the set came out. Worlds is over. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Now it's time to shake up your locals with some interesting stuff. Just have fun again. We have Winter Cups coming up, and so this is the start of something that I hope you guys will enjoy. We're going to be doing a lot of covering some of the new main cards, so Titus. But while we do that, I'm going to be showing you like some combos and stuff like that as we go into it. So yeah, this is your tricolor warp deck. I know a lot of these cards are you're fairly familiar with, right? And I know there's some in here that you might not recognize, like this Genesis. Like, when was the last time we saw this Laguna, that was a promo that you probably never touched, and then this Onion Knight, which is brand new, that you never thought you'd play, but he's actually pretty good. I'll tell you why in a little bit. So let's go through the forwards, let's go through the numbers, and then I'll talk about some of the plays, and then I'll try to give you some of these test hands, see if it works here. I don't have the deck put together at the moment because we've been prepping other stuff, but that's okay. I can still give you the main combos and the main ideas behind it. So you have 3 Mist, 3 of the new Lightning, 3 of this Warp Laguna from the promo anniversary box, 3 Prish, 3 Kyros, 3 Onion Knight, 1 Melvian, 3 Vayne, 2 Sophie, 3 the Emperor, 3 Charlotta, 3 Genesis, 1 Null, 3 of the new Opus 24 Legendary Titus, 3 Noct from Opus 19, and 3 Theodore as well. Like I said, this is the warp deck, right? So every few sets we get a few more pieces of this. For the last last half dozen sets, I think it is, pretty much ever since Vayne came out in Opus 19. Right before it, I think Theodore was 18. Yeah, so it was Theodore that kind of shot the warp engine out, and then we're like, okay, this is all fun and good. I think we got Theodore and Ramzo around the same time, and then Vayne came out, and they're like, well, this should work together, but we don't have enough pieces to do anything, and so now we're working on figuring that part out, and a lot of these, and over time, like I said, now we have 24, we have 20, 21, 19. We've been getting those warp cards to come through for us, and so the main thing is you're going to want to drop Titus turn 1. I'm not going to say you have to mulligan for it, because there's a lot of different card combinations that you're going to want to focus, to try to open up with, because each one is, I won't lie, I haven't cracked up like each match specific opening hand, and I'm going to leave that up to you guys when you want to build this and mess with this, but Titus is going to be a priority no matter what, right? Because when a warp counter is removed from any other player's card other than named Titus, remove 1 warp counter from Titus, right? So as long as you have things are all warping, I guess, being warped at the same time, Titus is going to count down a lot faster. And then the forwards with warp you control gain haste and cannot be chosen by opponent's summons. So honestly, summon protection isn't the super best right now. But it is something, so it helps. Yeah, so Titus is your big thing. The main thing that we want from this is the haste, right? Because you want them to come out all at the same time and just swing, and then take advantage of some of the other effects that we trigger on when these cards come out. You have cards like Theodore to kind of reduce their hand size, and again, this one you should know already, but if you don't, yeah, the main thing is you're going to make them discard 3. Ideally, you have Vayne out, and you're drawing while you're doing this to stay ahead. And again, ideally, you have Titus, so you'll have 2 forwards swinging and just kind of putting on that pressure, right? You have Mist to kind of filter out your next draws to make sure you know what you're getting. You have Lightning as a backup plan, and also just an Earth fixer for some of your off cards like Noct. You can play Mott from the LB, and just in case you want to. Oh, and for the Prish, of course, because it does require Earth CP, at least 1, to warp this card. Some of the other key takeaways are Kyros. I think Kyros is highly overrated, but it does shine really well in this deck. So when Kyros or a forward enters your field due to warp, choose a character, dull it, and freeze it. If you open Titus, Mist, and Kyros, and then you manage to warp something else, or you have a few things on the warp, Kyros can single-handedly, lock down your opponent while the forwards just haste and swing in. It's very strong. It's very helpful. Again, a highly underrated card. And then you have cards like Charlotta too, which is an easy warp, but it's also just like a Thornton for us. Helps us get anything we need. So even if we just go Titus, Charlotta, Theodore, Mist, right, on turn 1, you're going to count down to Titus, get something you want, probably the Vayne, or any combination of like cards. You can even just set up a backup, and just continue the aggression from this deck. The backup line is very simple. This is probably one of your easiest sections where you can mess around with things. The Sid 2 is non-negotiable. I'm playing 2 copies of each class Moogle, the 9th Moogle and the 8th Moogle. The wind generates earth and the ice generates wind. That way you're able to play all 3 colors in this deck. You won't need to play them. Like, I don't prioritize them. You play this one, and then if you're lucky, you'll play another one of those. In, I guess, maybe a different matchup, you would play all 3 first, and then start to do stuff. But even then, that might be too late, right? The main idea is to just warp everybody, get out, dull freeze, put your opponent to 5 or 6, and then rely on things like Sergei's, Kuja. You have Magna Rotor, Vajradhara, and then you have a Death Gaze, honestly, for backup when you have something sticky that's just in your way. Things like a Tyvos. I think when I was testing this, I was playing a lot of soldiers, so Genesis was a big one. The new Genesis, and just again, it's really rare, but something sticky will pop up at cost 5, and you don't have other ways to deal with it. But yeah, this is the deck. It's pretty straightforward. I adopted the, I guess, JP version of the way they build things. It's just like you kind of grab everything that's very specific, kind of fine tune what are the right cards, right? Because like that's what they did with Knights. Knights came out, and so we kind of took that same approach for this, right? We picked the elements that we thought worked best for each other, and then complemented them all just a little bit. I adjusted the numbers. Obviously, you can adjust them yourselves. Some of the flex picks, I think, are the Lagunas. They're not bad. They're just a quick removal. They have it's a good effect, but it just his 3 for 7 drop is probably his I guess the bad thing about him. His bottom score, like, and then Melvian 2 is just another one. I left him at 1 just to color fix myself, and then Null, also same thing, just an extra one. I could probably just turn this into a Melvian, and just mess with those numbers, or add summons if you want. Chocobo's a good one. Some of the new Mateuses are decent, or just something in that nature, something for protection, something for. You can even play Mist Dragons just if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter too much, but they're not gonna Amat you. Amat is pretty much not that big of a deal in this deck unless they're stopping the Theodore or stopping the Vayne, which is very crucial. The Vayne is the whole thing, right? It doesn't matter how many times you warp if you're not increasing your advantage, your CP advantage against your opponent. It's pretty much a normal deck, right? The way to win with this deck is to abuse him, right? So that's why I say you maybe want to add summons like the Chocobos or Mist Dragons, things to protect, right? Or I think there's like a Fenrir or a Titan, things like that. Going back to Onion Knight, the reason this card is good, and I know again when we saw this one, this whole set felt like a Theater Rhythm set because every color got 2 or 3 of them. We have the whole orchestra now, but he warps. He's a 1 wind, warp for 1. You can pay a wind to warp him again and put 2 counters on him, so he won't actually die. And at damage 3, he's a 3/9. Again, all these short like warp counters, warp 1, warp 1, warp 1 with the Sophies, and all of these are just going to trickle down a lot and help the Titus go faster, but also proc Kyros when he comes out first. And just being able to continue to send something back up to warp will mean Vayne will always continue to draw cards, which means you'll always be able to play the cards in your limit break zone to kind of finish out the game. Knocked is just a backup. It's just an EX burst that you may get lucky with, but mainly he's there when you need to clear something as well, something cheap. You want, if something's going to be coming in warp pretty much every turn, or at least for the first 3 to 4 turns, right, or 3 turns, and he's going to be like another cheap piece of removal, and so it's very important. But yeah, very simple, guys. Let me just do a restart here. No, not a restart. Cancel. Actually, we'll just do a. Oh man, maybe I have to restart it, I guess. Okay, we'll just activate and draw here. I'll get rid of all these things. I don't even know if it'll work anymore. Point is, look, we'll go this right into the Theodore. That's not gonna work too much. Man, it's not my favorite thing here, but maybe if this will work. Yeah, there you go. So we do the mulligan. This isn't bad because we have this, but I don't like this one, so let's try the mulligan. This is definitely better. We'll warp this, put this in the break zone. Sorry, we forgot to draw. I don't want to warp the Kyros here because he won't come out at the same time. So we'll pass here. Something happens, back up, then you draw. This goes to 1. This is perfect. You can pitch Laguna to warp Kyros, and then you pitch these two probably to play this, trigger this guy, draw a card, make him discard 3. Then you're good. He'll swing in as well. Next turn, you're gonna draw 2. He'll come in, dole free something. Now you have 3 attackers. You're gonna draw another one from Vayne, assuming he lives. And then you're kind of not bad, right? Like you're gonna pretty much, you'll have done 1 damage. This is 4. The following turn, you can even just play this to drop this to stop something. And you could even play, sorry, I should probably move these up. And then you could play this guy to search the Mist or the Titus. Probably the Mist because it just counts longer. You can draw and stuff. And then just go from there. It's not too crazy, but you'll see as you play it. Obviously test it a little bit so you can see the lines. The quick combinations that I like are Titus, Mist, and Theodore. It's just a lot more fun that way. You have it's Mist, Kyros, and Charlotta and Titus, or Charlotta and Theodore are your best bets because you don't always necessarily see the Vayne, but the Charlotta is very important. As long as you're able to get Titus, Mist, and any other warp you can pay for with 1 card, you'll be fine, right? And the reason I say that is because Mist is 0 and Titus is 0. Everything requires you to pitch 1 or more CP card or whatever, but that's fine. Vayne, again, if you open Titus, Mist, Vayne, you're good. Go. Or Titus, Theodore, Mist, Vayne, you're good. The rest are all going to just fall into place after that. You have Surges for removal, Mott to keep everyone active in case you're fighting something aggressive. Kuja's the same thing, just kind of helps control the board. You have Snow to search the lightning in case you need it. It's really niche, but not that important. The Magna Rotor is an interesting one because we're mostly actually in wind. You will get the haste and the discard, so that's nice. This is just removal as well for you, and then again we talked about this guy. So that's the list, guys. Let me know if you build it and try it out and what changes you make. Obviously, this is something I had fun with a week or so. I'm not gonna say this is gonna win a major event, but it is gonna catch some people off guard. You're gonna have fun with it, and in a fair game, you should win. So take with that with what you will. Okay, guys. Leave your comments down below, and stay tuned for more deck profiles coming from soon. Thanks.